Well, a lot of, with the success of Crazy Rich Asians in North America and some other countries around the world, people are using that film to talk about representation as well as to talk about how, Asian American talent has finally got a chance to shine on screen. But actually, let's not forget that Asia itself, is full of fantastic acting talent that are ready to make the crossover to, international films too. And one of them is Hashimoto Ai, Japan's probably the most popular actress and considered one of the most beautiful. Well, she's coming here to Vancouver to present her film, It's Boring Here, Pick Me Up. It's actually showing in Vancouver as a world premiere. And the film is directed by Hiroki Ryuichi, who's been a regular guest of the Vancouver Film Festival, and he's famous for directing women in very sensuous and sympathetic roles. And this film, the actress Hashimoto Ai plays someone who has this crush on a boy in her high school. And she really reaches a new level in her acting where instead of just always being beautiful and desirable, she's actually playing the one who's experiencing unrequited love. And this film is very universal because it's about people who are in a small town trying to escape from the small town life, but then going back afterwards with a sense of nostalgia. And she was also in the film The Beautiful Star, which was the biggest hit of all Japanese films in last year's Vancouver Film Festival. And the film was directed by a very versatile and successful director in Japan called Yoshida Daihachi. And talking of him, we actually have this new film in Vancouver Film Festival this year too, and it's called The Scythian Lamb. And again, it stars one of Japan's most talented male actors. His name is Matsuda Ryuhei. He's the son of Matsuda Yusaku, who was again considered one of the greatest actors in Japan. And he was in Black Rain by Ridley Scott many years ago. And in this film, Yoshida is showing the kind of darkness of human nature in a kind of film that starts off as some kind of like comedy of manners about these 6 criminals who were released into a small seaside community in order to help to increase the population. But all kinds of things happen once they arrive, and then a murder happens, and it's entangled with a Japanese myth about a sea monster of evil. So it is very different from the last year's Beautiful Star. But if you like him, like the director, and like the film, please come and watch that. And talking about really famous actors, we also have to mourn the passing away of Kiki Kirin, again one of the greatest actresses in Japanese film. She's here. Her film, she has 2 films in Vancouver Film Festival. One of them is, of course, everyone knows, it's Shoplifters, the film that won the Palme d'Or at Cannes Film Festival this year. But she's also in a film called Mori, the Artist's Habitat, where she co-stars with the actor Yamazaki Tsutomu, who's a legend in Japanese cinema. And if you know Japanese films, you would remember him in the film Tampopo, which is getting a digital re-release now. And in this film, she plays the playful wife of an artist who lived until he was 96. And this is one day in the life of the artist when he's 94. And this artist has never left home for 30 years. But it's one of the funniest films in this Japanese section in Vancouver Film Festival, because even though he wants to be a recluse, his life is surrounded by all these hustlers and even the emperor and even aliens from outer space trying to like somehow leech off his fame and sort of disturb him from his his attempt at Zen life. And this is really hilarious. Other than that, we also have some really exciting Asian films. In a lot of audiences who like to watch Asian films, they're usually much more familiar with and focused on Japanese or Korean cinema. But actually, there are actually some really great films by upcoming, especially female Southeast Asian directors who received a lot of attention in this year's best festivals, like whether it's Berlin or Cannes or Tokyo or Venice. And they've been receiving both prestigious awards as well as like a lot of press coverage. One of them is Manta Ray, which recently won the Best Director Award in the Orizzonti section in Venice Film Festival only like a month ago. And this is a film that's very topical because it talks about the plight of Rohingya Muslim refugees from Myanmar. And another film is called Nervous Translation by a Filipino director who grew up in Japan. And it talks about something which is very unique to the Philippines, and it also tells the story from a child's point of view. And because she grew up in Japan, she really understands the situation of who have to work abroad. And this film is kind of very cute. It's got a kind of sensibility of Wes Anderson, but also talks about political and social issues through the eyes of a child. And it's won numerous awards in both in Rotterdam Film Festival in Holland, as well as was a special pick in the Lincoln Center in New York in the New Directors New Film section. And there's also a film that won the Best Film in the Generation section of Berlin Film Festival, also about children. And it's by the most talented female director from Indonesia. Her name is Camilla Andini. And this film is called The Seen and Unseen. It's about the psychology of children, which also weaves in the dance and the culture of ancient Indonesian art. And all of these films are really beguiling and fantastic, and I hope you do catch them to see how they're very much on the par with any European art house directors, as well as like the best directors from American indies.